We're gonna move into your hip joint, basically the area where your leg connects to your pelvis. And your hip is able to flex and extend. It's gonna be able to produce abduction and adduction. I can also internally rotate and externally rotate from there. Or again, the combination of these movements. Our hips are a really important part of our flying, not only because we're producing so many different body positions with our legs, for example, a daffy for your head down or any sit flying body position really, but also because they are the part in our body that are connecting our top part of our wing and the lower part of our wing. So they're responsible for the changes in the relationship of these two parts and the angle between them. If I don't have the sufficient strength, flexibility, and skills to articulate my hips, it will affect my flying a lot. One of the things that we may not usually think about that actually comes a lot from the hips is when we're having that floppy leg syndrome or we're belly tracking. If my leg can move all the way from the hip, it doesn't matter how much I'm flexing my toes up, my leg will still move. But if I can engage the hip area, now I'm reducing my leg's ability to move, and actually I'm gonna get rid of that problem. You might also notice that you don't have a lot of strength in the hip area if you have a habit of sit flying with a really, really heavy butt that's below your knees. Another good example about limitations in your hip mobility and strength would be you struggling to open your legs really wide when you're trying to learn your head down daffy. When we fly with a shorter wing, whether it's when we're starting to learn flying or it's because we just simply need the brakes, bending a lot of our joints allow a bigger range of motion. And being able to control these joint actions by stabilizing the joints with our muscles is really something that's super, super important for your flying performance. This will make the difference between a stable wing and a floppy wing. So it's not so much just about the body position. It's about the actions that happen within that body position. Next up is our knees. And what we need to know about our knees that they really only want to move one way. So they're either extending us using our quads or flexing us using our hamstrings. We sometimes think that there's rotation happening from the knee, but any form of rotation should always be happening all the way from the hip. Otherwise, we're putting a lot of strain into the knee joint, and this is a good start for any form of knee injuries. Our ankles are not something that you might think that's really important for your performance or for you as a flyer. But on every landing that you're doing every day, you're using them. And what's really important about your ankles is that if they don't move proper, if they don't have the range of motion that they should have, your knees are gonna take the hit of that. And then you're gonna start slowly damaging your knees. And this is why it's really important to make sure that we have sufficient mobility in the ankles. Your ankle is able to dorsiflex and plantar flex. And then once we dorsiflex it, there's a bunch of other movement that's possible and rotations, the circumductions. You may have heard from a lot of your flying coaches that you need to be either flexing your feet or pointing your toes to fly better. Yes, these two things might matter a little bit in terms of your performance, but usually the bigger reason why you should be focusing on that is that when I'm doing one of these actions, I'm contracting muscles, I'm creating muscular stability in the lower part of my legs, and now it's gonna make my body, my wing, more stable when I'm flying. Because in both cases, either when we flex our toes or we point our toes, there's gonna be muscles contracting. These two things that really focusing on them while you're flying can help you to control the lower part of your legs.